Hello, Taurus. Ashley here. You'll have to forgive the delay. We had an illness pop up in the house, so these are a little bit behind schedule. But we're going to do a reading for the week of the 7th of February. And we got some heavy energy here, Taurus. Oh, we're going to look into this, see what this is about. But all the bonus love readings are done. I will link Taurus one at the end of this video. If you want to check that out, you can look at your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. See what messages show up for you. And let's get into your reading for the week of February 7th. Had 2 Pisces cards pop out so far, so perhaps you either have strong Pisces on your chart or you're dealing with a Pisces. We have the 7 of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the 4 of Swords, the Page of Cups, the 3 of Pentacles, and the Devil, the High Priestess, so Pisces again, the 2 of Cups, and the 2 of Wands. I feel like someone here has been, I feel like you have your guard up here, Taurus. I feel like you're trying to protect yourself because you've just had your heart shattered. And I do feel like someone is trying to attempt to come in and apologize here. I feel like you're just not quite ready to take the leap of faith in order to rebuild something with this person. It does feel like a strong soulmate connection here. Again, we have strong Pisces, Capricorn showing up. But what's showing up here in the following week is kind of a deep dive into super negative thinking, fears. And I feel like what's happened and why this is showing up here is I feel like you've been on kind of a run of bad luck here. And I do feel like even now it's been going on for so long, or it's been so painful, that even as things show up to improve your situation, whether it's a relationship or just life in general, there's this like kind of downward spiral energy here. Bottom of the deck, we had an ending here. So we've got the World card, the 4 of Cups, the Tower. And it may have been quite sudden here. Could be dealing with a fire sign. I want to say that someone here maybe just stopped putting in the work. Kind of went from being stable to flighty, if that makes sense. But I feel like the news of an ending came out of the blue. It feels like it just ran you over. It wasn't expected, and it's certainly not what you wanted, but here we are, right? Now last week we have the Broken Open card, and so it's a 28, which reduces to a 10. So we're talking about both an ending and a beginning here, right? But it's been, you can kind of see like her heart chakra here. It's like there's a bunch of ashes that have fallen. It's like there's been a mini explosion that's taken place in the heart chakra. And while it has, I feel like perhaps what this card is trying to say is that it's actually trying to tell you that this terrible heartbreak happened, and it did break your heart, but in some ways I do feel like it was happening because it needed to open you up further. And of course, we don't notice that until we've healed and decided to open back up after a heartbreak has happened, right? Because there's plenty of people out there in the world that have had their heart broken and they've closed down, right? We have the 7 of Wands, the Page of Cups, and the High Priestess. So I do feel like I feel like I do feel like there's an apology coming in. But I also feel like it's like you don't want to get your hopes up here. So you're afraid to get your hopes up. You're afraid of getting your heart broken. Even though I feel like your intuition is telling you that it's coming. This apology is. And so it's almost like you've got your defenses up ahead of time. Yeah, look, I just split the deck and we have the 5 of Swords and the 9 of Wands. So the guard is up. So we're going to clarify and see what's going on here with the 7 of Wands. We have the 8 of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles. Could be that at this time you're just really focused on your own resources, your career, really trying to work for yourself, to, I want to say, like, rebuild something, because I do feel like what happened here is you put a lot of work and effort into this, what feels to me like a love situation, right? Now this could certainly be any situation for you that ended with a shock, right? But I feel like you're really trying to stand up for yourself right now, because I feel like the first time you built this, you put a ton of work and effort into it. And I feel like you're just really pissed that it came crumbling down. Like, and I feel like what I'm picking up here with this 7 of Wands is that your anger at even having to rebuild this, because you put so much time and effort into it in the first place. I feel like your anger is really covering up pain, right? Like massive disappointment and pain that this even happened, right? The Page of Cups, we have the 7 of Cups and the Page of Cups. So I do feel like someone is coming in here with an apology. I do feel like someone here is maybe trying to come in and clear things up for you. I also feel like if there is a potential here, because we did have the Knight of Wands, where was it? The 3 of Cups. I feel like somebody, for some of you, someone here made you an option in the past. Again, it was that energy of going from being committed to all of a sudden flighty. And maybe, I almost feel like it may not have been for someone else. I feel like for many of you, it was like, I'm suddenly gotten this new job opportunity and I'm going to go do it. And they just left you in the dust, right? So it doesn't have to be like a third party or a cheating thing, but with the 7 of Cups here, they definitely made you an option. It's not like you were number 1 and then the career was number 2. It's like this person went from being solid to suddenly having like a midlife crisis and deciding to move to Europe or something, right? Like with the High Priestess, we have the 4 of Cups. I feel like you're giving this person the cold shoulder. And the Hanged Man. With the Hanged Man, I wanted to clarify that, and I got the Tower. It could very well be that for some of you, you are not speaking to this person and not accepting their apology because you kind of want a little bit of retaliatory, you want to shock them the same way that they shook and shocked you. I also feel like feel like intuitively you recognize that they are coming forward with an apology, but I also feel like you're like, it's not good enough. Like that's not good enough for what really happened here. Because I don't, again, I'm getting drawn back to this Seven of Wands with the Eight of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like you're not feeling recognized for just how much work you put into this in the past. And it feels like they're offering a small apology here for what happened, but it's almost like they don't have an understanding of how much your life changed, how much your heart shattered here. So it feels like the offer that they're coming forward with isn't big enough to heal this giant tower moment here, right? This huge revelation. It feels like also you've maybe started to question your own intuition. After this happens, you start to you not only look at what this other person did, but you start to kind of look at yourself and say, like, okay, how did I not see this coming? How did I think that this was going to be long term if it wasn't? Right? And I believe that a similar message to that showed up in one of the other earth signs. It was like you had faith in something and it still didn't work out, and so now you've got this, you're questioning yourself, right? Now this week we have poised in the reverse. So this is like the hanged man, or not the hanged man, the fool, only in the reverse. It's like not wanting to take a leap of faith. You're like, I've already done this and it didn't work out, so why would I risk myself again? We have the Wheel of Fortune, the Three of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. So whether this is the person from the past or someone new, I feel like you're just not in the mood, in the emotional state, or whatever to even accept this in, right? Like, I still feel like you're quite wounded from what's happened in the past. And so it doesn't feel like you're willing to take a risk for something new or a reconciliation, right? The Wheel of Fortune, we have the Five of Swords and the Page of Swords. Like, yeah, I feel like I sense like there's a lot of curiosity here, but I also feel like you're not curious enough to find out because there's conflict about this person suddenly coming forward with an apology. Like, I just feel like there's a lack of confidence from you that it actually means things could improve. With the Three of Pentacles, we have the Four of Swords. Again, I feel like you're kind of giving this person the cold shoulder. And I feel like in some ways it's to kind of, again, protect yourself, to maintain some control here, because things have been so out of your control. Like, you didn't choose this, right? It completely shattered your foundations and your emotions and your heart. And the one thing that you can control at this point is whether or not to let this person in, right? With the Two of Cups, we have the Five of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. So I do feel like this person continues to try and ramp up their efforts. It's like they go from the Page to the Knight, but I still feel like you're rejecting this offer of love. I feel like I do feel like you recognize there needs to be some healing just all on your own before you could even think of forgiving this person or healing things with this person. I also feel for some of you, there's this hesitation to release your emotions. I mean, you're kind of showing up here as the Queen of Pentacles. She's very stable, right? But any of this kind of Piscean emotional energy here is kind of being hidden from this person. You're holding it back. And then we have the Strength card here with the Four of Swords. It's like you're holding yourself back. It's almost like if I open up the floodgates, we're going to have a disaster. So I don't feel like you're approaching this person and showing any emotion to them. It's like you don't want to give them the satisfaction or something. But I do feel like your person is trying to approach you with emotion. Very guarded, wounded energy here. Now in the future position, we have open to life in the reverse. So we're not open. We're not open right now. And what this can talk about is really getting in a negative spiral here. Because there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of resentment here, there's fear. And so we kind of get stuck in this loop. Like we have one negative thought, and then it leads to the next negative thought. And then that negative thought leads to the next negative thought. And then it keeps going until eventually negative things start to happen, right? And then we're just in this deep spiral. And you know what? No judgment. If you need to go on a spiral, go on a spiral. But I feel like that's kind of what's showing up here. It's like you're kind of looking back on the past, and there's just tons of anger. There's tons of pain here. And I feel like part of that might be because you haven't opened the floodgates, right? It's like if this person keeps approaching you wanting to apologize, and your instinct is to not communicate at all or communicate very little in return, you're not speaking up and, you know, using that throat chakra and opening up about the pain. It's like you want them to figure it out, right? With the Four of Swords, yeah, the Two of Wands, looking back to the past. Also, you know, kind of, I do feel like you have a choice here, right? Because they continue to present you with this offer. We have 2, 2, 2 here. So there's a choice to be made, and I don't think you're making it. And the Ace of Pentacles. Oh, yes. Okay, Ace of Pentacles clarified by the Seven of Swords. Like, I don't feel like you trust this person at all. And there might be a feeling here that if you did open up and you did communicate, that your proposal or your feelings or your whatever it is that you offer via communication here would either be rejected or ignored or not acknowledged. And again, I was picking up on that here last week, where it's clear that the level of pain that you're feeling, you don't feel recognized for that because of this very small effort that this person is putting out there in order to make amends, right? The Devil, we have the King of Wands, so you could certainly be dealing with a fire sign here. And the Hierophant. It could definitely be here that this connection itself at this juncture now symbolizes something for you that's not positive at all, right? Like it may, you know how like the line between love and hate is a fine line. And it feels like to me where at one point it was your stability, it was your hopes here. Now what this person represents to you is lies or pain or anger or what have you. And I also feel like somebody here, it's showing up time and again that someone here really just tried to completely escape commitment whatsoever. And I don't want to say just commitment, but responsibility. So with the Two of Wands, we have the Six of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So we do have a soulmate pair here. And somebody's definitely in this dynamic is sitting in very heavy, dark, painful energy. Someone else here is almost like overly positive. And I feel like it's only overly positive because of how big the contrast is, right? Like someone here is terrified of committing while the other person is super positive that it'll all work out. And it's just kind of interesting after what has happened. It could very well be that the person that you're dealing with, I mean, depending on what side of the fence you sit on, right? It could very well be that the person you're dealing with, you know, has other fears that are kind of tying them down outside of just this whole relationship dynamic. I'm talking about whether it's like they also work in a very toxic environment, or they have toxic family members, or there's other things that they have to deal with that's only exacerbating the pain that's showing up here. But then we have this like kind of, it's bizarre, this like happy-go-lucky energy that is approaching you, right? And so it doesn't feel like you're on the same wavelength at all. Well, I hope that was helpful, Taurus. Definitely some heavy energy there. I hope it turns around soon. And I definitely hope that if you have emotions that you need to let out, that you let them out for your own benefit. Even if that emotion is anger, right? Because I do feel like there's a lot of holding back here, and it's like it's just stewing around inside you rather than kind of coming up and out. So hang in there, Taurus. I will see you next week. And thanks for being here. Bye.